Hello, my friends. Welcome to today's Friday weekly live crafting video. This is Patty Bennett. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and each Friday I go live here on Facebook to share a fun project with you, tips, ideas, color combos, product information, you name it. And I'm extra excited about this particular bundle. Today we are going to be talking about the Coneflower Celebrations bundle. It is really fun. It's something a little bit different than things that Stampin' Up! Has had in the past. At least I kind of feel like it is. So I decided to start playing with it. And when I did, the number one thing I did was enjoy all the beautiful color combos. Because if you've been around here a while, you know I love all the color combos. But beyond that, there were several tips that I came up with that I thought might be helpful if you start playing with this bundle, or if it's something that you want to order and you haven't yet. I know that it's always helpful to kind of have the roadmap, know all the ins and outs, the tips and tricks, etc. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm just going to take a moment to welcome our live viewers. Hi, Debbie, Terry, good morning. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Tammy. Anne is here. Yes, happy Friday, Anne. Hi, Polly, and Robin's here. Hey, Joan, Sue, Faith, Kelly. Hello, everybody. Yay, so many of my friends are jumping on here. I am just so glad that you are here today. I appreciate you spending a little time with me. We're going to give everybody about 30 seconds or so to find the live feed, and then we will just jump into the tips and the card making for these really pretty flowers. I think they're just gorgeous. Absolutely so pretty. So while you are all jumping on, let me just say hello again and welcome. My name is Patty Bennett, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today is June 13th, so if you are joining live at 10 a.m. on Facebook, welcome. If you are watching a replay, thank you for joining me as well. Can you believe next weekend, my friends, is my 30th anniversary as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator? I have a super fun video that we will be well, I'm trying to decide when to do it, because next Friday I really want to show you my washi tape cards. So I really want to do that next Friday instead of anniversary stuff. So anniversary might be a different day. I haven't really decided yet how we're going to do that, but I'll let you know. But we're going to have a fun video for my anniversary. I just can't believe 30 years. I've been saying it, and all of a sudden it's like, holy cow, it's really getting real. 30 years. Like, whoa. I mean, that's longer than some people have been alive, longer than some people have been married, a lot longer than some people have had a job. So I just feel very blessed and fortunate to have been with Stampin' Up! For 30 years. And I'm not going anywhere. It's not a retirement announcement, my friends. My goal, and I know it's kind of silly to tell God what your plans are, but my goal is 10 more years as a demonstrator. So fingers crossed. Diane is cute. Diane says, were you 12 when you started? No, actually. So how old was I? So I was 35 when I started as a demonstrator. So yeah, because I just turned 65. So yeah, that math makes sense, right? But our son was only 4 when I started. So he has definitely grown up with Stampin' Up! That is for sure. So today, back to our cards, my friends. We are going to be talking about this amazing Coneflower Celebrations bundle. So there is a stamp set and a die set. It's not a suite, so there isn't any paper or gems or anything that specifically coordinate with this, but I am really excited to show you this beautiful paper that I have used in the background here. So we're going to talk about that. I like to share with you my inspiration samplers so we can just quickly go over what comes with this bundle. There are wonderful greetings. There are lots of them, which I know when I look at something like this, a package of stamps, I just sort of immediately go for the big images, and I don't always read all of the greetings. So it's kind of nice to just take a moment, stamp them out, look at them, and like, oh yeah, so there are some really good greetings in here. And then there are dies. This is mainly what we're going to talk about today, is this die that you can use to open, or you could seal it shut. Or of course you could just cut half, either way. This extra die, this is what we're going to be using a lot to layer on top. You could also just stamp and color and die cut the coneflower image. You don't have to use it with this folding idea or all the colored layers idea. You can simply just color it, and any color you want. There are leaf stamps and dies, so I've got those alternates here. The stem, you know what, the stem also actually has a stamp, and I realized I forgot to stamp it on there, but you get the idea. You can use it with or without the lines. And then there's this sort of standalone, very interesting, I don't even know what you call this thing. Here it is. The bonus is all those little circles pop out when you die cut it. So if you need some free confetti, there you go. You'll have perfect little circles if you want them. And then there's this butterfly. So it also, I think you can tell, it's a die cut as well. You can die cut it, or you could just stamp it. And then lastly, there is this coneflower center. So I'm going to show you how I used that as an alternate to the stamped portion of the center. So you can see the difference of those there. And then the last thing I just wanted to say was regarding colors. I actually Googled colors for coneflowers because I don't have any of these. I was not really familiar with this flower. And basically the answer is these come in almost every single color of the rainbow. So I'm like, well, what better thing to do than to just pull out all the colors. These supplies from Stampin' Up are on my blog today, pattystamps.com. What I did was I grabbed the two-tone cardstock in a lot of really pretty fun colors. So by two-tone, I'm just going to flip this over. Let me just show you. So do you see that you get a light and a dark and a light and a dark? So that's what I mean by two-tone. And I'll show you why I used that. I think you're going to love this idea of the two-tone cardstock. If you're not familiar with it, you might remember it from my rainbow order and catalog review video. Page 77 in the current Stampin' Up 2025-2026 annual catalog has all of our colors of two-tone cardstock. It's 12 by 12, and this page happens to be in rainbow order, which is what I use to organize my cardstock ink pads, blends, and blending brushes this year. So I used their order, and this is where you can purchase all of the two-tone cardstock. And page 82 here is the Coneflower Celebration bundle. Don't forget you save 10% on all Stampin' Up bundles. So if you buy these together, make sure you use this code with the discounted price. So you save $7 on this bundle, or yeah, by buying it as a bundle, as opposed to buying the stamp set or just buying the dies. So there we go. That's where you find the supplies, also on pattystamps.com today. And these are the colors I used for cardstock, and then the colors I used for ink pads to do my ink blending on both the flowers and the background. And this paper that's in the background, so I'll just show you these two as an example. Do you see? I'm trying to get it to shine here. Yeah, I think you can see that. So it looks like white on white embossing if you look up here. And it is. It's pre-embossed paper. And then there are flowers. There is this plaid. And then hang on, let me grab, I told you, hang on, where'd I put them? Okay, I'm losing all my brain cells. They've all just leaked out officially. Where the heck? Oh, here they are. I don't like it when I lose all my brain cells. That's just scary. The third pattern is this leaf pattern. So I mentioned a minute ago that I was anxious to share some of my washi tape cards with you next week. And that is what one of the card ideas I was talking about. This is the washi tape that's die cut, and I used the third pattern in this Irresistible Designs pack. So here is the leaf pattern. This is what I'm talking about, the washi tape. So we'll look at that in detail, but I just can't wait to show you all of those and how I did those. So the leaf pattern, the floral pattern, and this plaid pattern all come in this pack. They are 12 by 12, and I just think it's so simple to cut down your 12 by 12 paper into 4-inch strips and then cut them at 5 1/4 tall. So that is what I've done for all of the backgrounds, and I'll show you how I blended those. We'll look at that, but that's the background. So that kind of gives you an overview of all of the supplies. The bundle, the Irresistible Designs paper in the background, the 2-tone cardstock. Oh, the More Messages bundle. Can you see all of these fun greetings on these? These are all in my little card candy bowl here. All of our greetings are from the More Messages. Let me just show you that. So it's a large background stamp. If you preferred, you could cut it apart, but it comes in one big piece. Oh, I'm holding it upside down. So it comes in one large piece. So I stamped it several times in some different colors, and I wrote this down. Here it is. I found I needed a 4.5 by 6-inch piece of cardstock. That seemed to be the best size for me. So what I actually did was I made myself a note and I tucked it inside my case so that every time I go to use this, I don't have to measure it. But I just wanted to show you that. You cut 4.5 by 6, you stamp this, and then this die cuts out everything at once. So what I did was I did several in black because I'm like, you can use black on just about anything. But then, of course, I pulled out some of my favorite colors, and I think I did Strawberry Slush, I did Misty Moonlight, and I think I did, I'm not sure what else I did, but I did several different colors, and then I just die cut them real quick, keep them in the bowl. This is what you end up with out of your 4.5 by 6. So that's just that. I wanted to show you that in case you had not used that yet, but that is what I used for the greetings on these cards. It just seemed super easy to have that little bowl and just stick different greetings on. So anyway, okay, back to the supplies. So we did that. I showed you the ink colors. We'll use the blending brushes. And then I just grabbed several different embellishment packets or gems or pearls, whatever you want to call them. And I'll show you those as we go through the samples. So those are the supplies. I have all of those just right here. And these went with all of the colors that I was using today. So I love those. So, okay, there's the supplies. There's the roadmap. Thank you for hanging with me for like just that amount of time so that we can get going. I know it's a long introduction, but really I think for me, it's important to kind of know the whole backstory, where we're headed and what we're using so that you're not confused as I start creating. All right. So I mentioned using 2-tone cardstock, and I want to show you why that is both fun but very important to getting all of these beautiful colors. I used the two-tone cardstock to cut that large die. So here's what you get when you cut the large flower. You get this shape, okay? When you cut that detailed flower, you get this shape. But it doesn't give you much depth or dimension or interest if you simply layer the same color on top of the same color. Nothing wrong with it. It's just not like super interesting. However, if I were to use, let's say, the light side of this Petunia Pop two-tone cardstock with the dark side, look at that immediate beautiful contrast of color. So immediately you can see that benefit right there. And then here's the fun part. This is like the paper doll part. So you take a color and you say, okay, so what does that look like on top? Oh, that looks like fun. What if I flip it? Oh, look, totally different look. What if I flip this one? Then we have yet another look. Okay, let's look at another one. So we have Lemon Lolly, and maybe we want to go with a really huge contrast there, or maybe not so much of a contrast. Maybe we want to flip it to that side, or the darker side and that side. So right away, you have 4 different color combos simply by cutting one piece with two-tone up here and another piece with a different two-tone over here, and then flipping and flapping and flopping. And do you see what I mean? Isn't this, to me, this is the fun part. And I just had the best time looking at all these different color combinations and deciding what I wanted to use as my base and as my top layer. And then I thought, why do we need to stop with 2 layers? So we could do more. So here's an example of just the 2 layers. You have the light Petunia Pop and dark Berry Burst. No, that's actually Petunia. Wait. Yeah, Petunia Pop or Berry Burst. One of the 2. Whatever. Anyway, it's just one layer on top and 1 base layer. So that's what I did for a lot of them. But then I was like, oh, wait. We could do 2. So you can see I have like a yellow and an orange and another orange under there. So then we have extra layers. And what adds even more fun is if you take your bone folder and just very gently, because you don't want to pull these petals off, but very gently, you curl those up so that then when you layer, look at that. Look how fun. Oh my gosh. Yes, Patty is playing. Who said that? Leanne. Yes, Patty's playing. I am glad that you like all these ideas. So look how fun that is. Look how many different colors and all that depth and dimension. But then we're going to add more with ink blending. So we're not even halfway through this yet. Let me keep going and showing you these ideas. Here I actually have 2 of the same color, but by adding the ink blending that I mentioned, it looks like yet a different color. So ink blending here, and then underneath, ink blending on this edge. Isn't that fun? Oh my gosh, I just love this so much. Here's just 2. Just a darker pink on top of a lighter pink. That's it. And that's totally fine. This is simply 2 layers, but 2 extra colors of ink blending on top. So it looks like 3 colors are on top of the base. I don't know. These are so endless. The fun part is die cutting a whole bunch of pieces and just sit down and play. So that's the first thing I wanted to show you, is the benefit of the two-tone cardstock and flipping, flopping, mixing, matching, and then adding a little extra color with some ink blending. So now that you kind of know where we're headed with this, let's get to it and let's make some of these. And I want to show you my tips for the centers of the flowers as well. So if I get astray and I forget to say something, please somebody rein me back in and remind me to talk about that. And by the way, I don't know, somebody really creative is probably going to create some beautiful butterflies out of this. Just saying. Just saying. Because that's what they look like to me. So, number one, get your two-tone cardstock, die cut a whole bunch, and then start playing. So, the first thing I did, this is like embarrassing, but I'm going to show you because I want you to see how this works. So, I've got some pieces die cut. This is Pretty in Pink, two-tone cardstock. I think you can see there's not a ton of difference in your lighter colors, but you can see there's the two colors. So when you die cut this, what is important to note is that if you're going to stamp it, the stamp only goes with one, well, it only lines up. Let's say that. It only lines up one way. If I were to open this up and flip this around, it does not line up when you try to stamp it on the other part. And that's what I did first. And you can see how those petals do not line up with the die cut. And I thought, oh my gosh, somehow I got a defective bundle. And I was literally ready to call Stampin' Up and say, I don't know what happened, but mine's defective and it doesn't line up. Well, so glad I didn't call, because good heavens, all you have to do is turn it around and it lines up. Okay, now that you know my most embarrassing secret of all, there we go. I guess if that's the worst that ever happens to me, then we're probably okay, right? So, pick your base. Make sure that if you're going to stamp it, you have what I call the skinnier petal over here with the skinnier side. You have the wider petal over here with the wider side. Can you, I think you can see that, right? Skinny, skinny, wider, wider. And then that's how you're going to stamp it. I need to look through my camera. Oops, sorry, I bumped you. Sorry. Oh, this is harder than it looks when you're standing up looking through the camera. But let's see. Hopefully. Oh, that's not too bad. That is Flirty Flamingo on top of petal. Wait. No, Pretty in Pink. And you could have done Pretty in Pink. I just chose to do more contrast. Then what I do is I leave whatever ink is there. Okay, so there was the front. What I did was I just flipped it to the inside. And I am going to stamp what is left of the ink. I don't know how accurate this will be. That is really hard to do it through the phone, but we'll see. Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. And that way I have this pretty soft inside so that when somebody opens it, they see that, but it's not like, you know, whoa, in your face. This is my favorite stamp greeting from the set. It says, "It's your day." I just love the font. I think it's so generic. You can use it for anything you want. And I stamped, I stamped that on the inside of almost all of them. That's optional. You could just leave space to write whatever you want, but that's what I did with most of mine. So then, after I stamped those, then I played with extra layers to add on top. Again, remember, flipping, flopping. Ooh, that's a pretty contrast, isn't it? Let's see, that's the same color. So then if we did all of these different pinks, I think this is Strawberry Slush. I am fairly certain this is Strawberry Slush. So let's just do that. There's no right or wrong here. Just so pretty. Do what you like. Do what makes you happy. I'm going to grab Strawberry Slush ink so that I can do some ink blending. And hang on, I need a drink. It's really dry. Or maybe it's because I've been talking nonstop for 26 minutes. Okay, that could be it too. I'm going to grab my Strawberry Slush brush. Hey, that's cute, right? Strawberry Slush brush. Oh, don't mind me. I might be having way too much fun. And I'm just going to put some ink down here in the bottom. Again, there is no right or wrong. You can do whatever you want to do. Any colors, any kind of shading. You could even use your Stampin' Blends for shading. Anything you want. A little ink down there. Then I am going to try... I'm going to hold this because I don't want those petals to move or tear. So I'm not really caring about this center. That's not my point here. I'm trying to get some ink so that as the flower petals go towards the center of the flower, they look like they're kind of dipping in, so they'd be darker. So I'm trying to get some ink right there. So do you see that? The petals are lighter out here and they're a little bit darker as they go towards the center of the flower. I'm going to add a little more because I really want some contrast here. But I'm being gentle. You need to be gentle with these petals. You don't want them to rip. Oh, yes. See, isn't that pretty? Look at that difference just by adding that little bit of ink there. After they're inked is when I did the curling. It's much easier to ink them when they're flat. Okay, so I'm going to give that layer a little bit of fluff there. Oh, I have a cute story about that for you. So look, just that, you could just go with that. Isn't that pretty? But we're going to do a dark layer. Actually, I think maybe that's going to be my top layer. I think I'm going to do, yep, I'm going to do that. So what I'm going to do on this one is I am just going to darken almost the whole thing. Just a kind of hit and miss. I'm not trying to make this like perfect. I'm just giving it a little extra color. Going to gently curl. Okay. So let's see how we like that. If we put the dark layer and then we do this one, and I'm kind of offsetting those two pieces so that more of the petals show. Yeah, look at that. So we see light, dark, dark, light. I hope you can see that. I just think this is gorgeous. Once you decide what's your top layer, what's your middle layer, your bottom layer, or, you know, if you're just doing 2 layers, that's fine as well. Then you're going to want to do the flower center. And you have 2 options for that. Just to make it easy, I did pecan pie on everything. I'll tell you the reason. I was working at my husband and son's office on Tuesday making all these. So even though I wanted to bring like every possible color, I had to kind of tone it down. And I only brought 12 ink pads, and this was the only brown I brought, and it worked fine. So that's what I did for all of the centers. I am going to stamp just the center on this top piece. But before I do, one thing I found was that I liked a little bit of extra shading with a Stampin' Blend. This can be any brown. The natural tone markers are great. I've got number 600 out of that set of 10, but whatever you'd like. So I just added just a little bit of shading just to get some depth happening there. And then I used the ink pad and the stamp, and I just went like that. So I'm really only inking that center. And then I see just a little bit here. I'm just going to wipe that with my finger. Oh, you know what? I wasn't supposed to curl these yet. it's much easier to stamp this if they're not curled. So there, we'll flatten it a little bit. And then I'm just going to stamp that down in the center. Oops, I missed it a little bit. Okay, this gives me an opportunity to show you a plan B option. Like I said, this is so hard to look through the phone and stamp accurately, so forgive me that that didn't go exactly as planned. Here you can see an example of how it looks a little better when you get it lined up. Just, I'm not going to say perfect, but a little better. But here's an option. If you use those die cut centers that are in this bundle, you can just use that as your flower center. So if it messes up like that and it doesn't turn out just perfect, it's not a problem. You can go ahead and use one of these, and I'm going to just add a little bit of ink blending with my number 600 just to give it a little bit of depth. And I personally like, excuse my reach, I personally like Seal Plus or Seal when I'm working with a die like this that has all those little openings, because if I use liquid glue and press down, it's going to seep through every one of those little openings. And that is like just one sticky mess, in my opinion. So there we go. We're just going to fix that and we're going to cover it up. But that's fine because it gave me that opportunity to show you that that's what it looks like when you use the die. And then super duper simple. So we're just going to add this layer on top. And I'm going to skew it just a little bit over to the left. And then I'm going to skew this one just a little bit to the right so that these petals don't line up perfectly. I want them, do you see the difference there? If I line them up, you don't really see that other layer. If I skew it like this, then all of a sudden you see that whole layer. So that's what I'm going to do with this. And I'm just going to pick this up so I can see it. Okay, I am going to use my snips, and I'm just going to cut off just a teeny bit of that pink edge that's showing. It's probably, you probably didn't even see it, but my eye saw it. Oh yeah, we uncurled those petals, so I might want to give them a little more fluff. But there we go. So there's how you get about 6 different colors. You've got the 2-tone paper both sides, and you've got different ink blending, center or tips. And then you have just this beautiful layered 3D flower, and you can open it up and see inside. Isn't that cute? I just love this. I'm going to catch, I promise, I'm going to catch up on comments in just a moment, but I want to get this card finished so that we can look at comments, questions, and move on to another flower. So this paper that I used, that I mentioned, this Irresistible Designs, yeah, Irresistible Designs, for most of them I was using this plaid because on all those washi tape cards I had used up most of the floral and the leaf patterns that I showed you earlier. So we'll go back to our strawberry slush, and I want to show you how easy this is to ink blend on this paper. You want to always, of course, you know, have your grid paper or scratch paper. You start off the card front and then just start swirling. And I'm going to go halfway up this paper on a diagonal. Keep going. Look at all the ink that's there. I often get asked about washing out your brushes, but this is the advantage to not washing out your brushes, because you have that gorgeous buildup of ink and you can just keep going and going with this beautiful soft blend, and you don't have to keep re-inking when you use your brushes over and over and over with the same color. And if you don't I know, I'm a little crazy. You don't have to have 50 brushes. You can do one brush for dark pink, one brush for light pink, one for dark green, one for light green, one for dark blue, one for light blue. You only have to have really about 6 or 9 brushes. I just label them and have one per color. It's just my choice. And then here's what you absolutely have to do. You need to take some kind of a cloth. I like a microfiber cloth personally, and rub, and you're going to see the white really pop because this will take the ink off of that embossed slick area. And it doesn't really show much. I mean, I've been using this for probably made over 100 cards, and it's fine. I mean, just throw it in the wash after a while, but you need to make sure you do that. Otherwise, the ink that sits on top of there is going to come right off in your hands, and you don't want that, or especially the recipient. You don't want that to happen, right? So then let's see, what if we used, I've got lots of different colors of cardstock pre-cut over here. We could use the strawberry slush. Oh, I have another really super good tip for you. I'm glad we're finishing this card so that I can show you that tip. So let's see what that looks like. Very monochromatic, very springy. Let me see if I have another color pre-cut that might work. Well, I have a, let's see what it looks like with flamingo. That's actually really pretty, and it brightens up that flower quite a bit. Kind of like that more. So let's keep that as an idea. And then do I have anything else here pre-cut that might look really good? Oh, I just saw something else over here I forgot to show you. So many things. So many things. Let me get this out so I show this to you and I don't forget. Okay, I like that. I'm going to go with strawberry slush on Fleur de Flamingo. Then you have the pretty in pink and the strawberry slush. And I think that was it on here. So that combo, I think, is really pretty and springy. So we're going to go with that. And I have a really good tip to show you about the stem. Did I pre-score this? Hang on. Oh, I did. It's just hard for me to see. Okay. So I'm going to add that. Now, here's a really great tip. I have that stem already pre-cut. I have already pre-cut and stamped leaves. Oh, 2 tips to show you on that. Okay, number 1 tip, hang on. So I have the Granny Apple Green 2-tone cardstock. This is a 4 by 12 inch strip out of the 12 by 12 paper. I folded it in half, and you can see I've put the stem and the 2 leaves, the stem and the 2 leaves, the stem and the 2 leaves. So I now have enough for, let's see, 2, 4, 6 cards out of this one piece that I die cut. But the beauty is, when you do this, you are going to get a light stem and a dark stem at the same time, because this side will die cut the dark and this side will die cut the light. And now you have a light and a dark, and you can play with that. The same with the leaves. So there's tip number 1 with the stems and the leaves. You don't have to die cut like over and over. You can do the 2 at once. And then to put this stem on the card, I made all of them basically the same. I kind of started at the bottom right. I did a diagonal. I did all my flowers at a diagonal. Is anybody proud of me? A diagonal? Did you catch that? A diagonal, my friends. I did it. But I am not a fan of holding on to a little piece, whether it's your fingers or a tweezers, and trying to get the glue just so, and then get it just so. So here's what I did. I think this is like brilliant. Well, I think it was brilliant. So there's where I want it. I'm going to scoot it over about 1/4 of an inch, and I'm going to take my glue, and I'm just going to go like this, right next to it, really thin little strip. And then I just pick this up and I set it right down on top. And then it's in the perfect spot and I didn't have to touch the gluey little strip. Ta-da! Anybody else impressed? Sorry, I'm really impressed. I really thought that was brilliant. And then I am going to put a dimensional at the top of each leaf. Pull off the backing. And I mentioned this last week. I am really digging this little hook piece. It's the other end of the pointy piece in the Take a Pick tool. This is really being handy. I'm really digging that. It's really working well for me. And I am going to put just a little dab of glue down here. And then that'll pop this part of the leaf up and it'll stick that part of the leaf down by the stem. I am sure there's a million different ways to do this. This is just what I chose to do. So I have a lighter leaf and a darker stem because of the two-tone cardstock. And then I can just put my flower right on top. And now the recipient is going to be able to see the inside. If you don't want that to happen, you can either cut this and make two flowers out of this to glue on, or just glue it shut. But I think that is really kind of cute. Don't you love that? I think that's really fun. Really a fun little bonus for people that get this card. Now, since it says it's your day, we could do something like congratulations, you're simply incredible. Let's see, I think happy birthday works really well with that. What?
My best friend.
My best friend, he says. Somebody's listening to me. You're simply incredible. You're the best. What else do we have in here? Oh, hi there is just like really cute. Hi there. It's your day. Okay, lots of love. That doesn't really go with that. What else? I don't know. There's so many in here. Congratulations. Oh, yeah, we already have that. Let's do that. I like that. Oh, way to go. Wait. Way to go. It's your day. No. Congratulations, it's your day. So you could use that for a number of different occasions. Congratulations, it's your day. And that looks really cute. It takes up that space really nicely. And look, we're going to do that same little trick. We're just going to put a little line of glue right there and pick this up and put it on top so that we don't have to handle that gluey piece. I don't know. Is it just me? I just don't like handling little gluey strips. I don't know what it is. It probably goes back to like preschool and finger painting, or I don't know. And then our last step is to pick some gems. And I think the strawberry, I can never say this quickly. I have to calm down. Strawberry slush gems are perfect with that. The bright green would also look great with the hexagons. The pale pink in the in color shimmer gems. I think these are retiring, pretty sure. White would look good. Oh, those strawberry slush pearls. Okay. And if you haven't seen my tip, I know I've done this on other videos, but let me just show you something that I like to do when I can't decide on what gems I want to use. Since these are on plastic, let me just get that released from the backing. I just hold them on top of my project and I look and I see if I like that before I actually pull them off of the sheet. Oh, yeah. To me, that's it. The sparkle. And that just helps me to see which gem I want to use without taking it off and sticking it on and then being disappointed. And again, I'm liking this little hook thing for these. This has been working really well for me. So let's do 3 gems because, you know, a triangle of 3 is always good. So 3 gems. And there is our card, but I have another tip. So let me put this away and let me not forget to share that tip with you. I also, of course, I need to read some of these comments. So please hold 1 second here. Oh, Patricia says I'm a genius, a stamping genius. Well, you are just too kind. Thank you. You made my day. Anita, I'm glad you love the colors. Thank you, Mary. Let's see. Was there? Oh my gosh, there are. Oh, there are so many questions. Please hold. Oh my God, my goodness. Debbie Douglas says, I don't know how I can live without this set right now. I know. It is so pretty. It is so gorgeous and so fun. Oh no, I'm sorry you had trouble finding me. I'm sorry. I'm glad you're here. Oh, good. Patty says she got this set and she is going to play today. I am so glad. Yes, Irresistible Designs, Lori. Love, love, love that paper. So I'll just put a couple of these out here so you can see some other ideas while I am looking at the other questions. The flowers in that paper is so gorgeous as well. All right, let's see. Ah, awesome. Donna is rethinking this bundle. Yeah, it's so pretty. It's just so pretty. Are you okay? Yeah. Okay, sorry, just checking on hubby. Leanne says, this has been in and out of my cart so many times. Now I am sold for sure. I am glad you like it. I'm so glad you like it. Let's see. Hang on. Just checking to see if there were any questions. Thank you all so much. Your comments are so kind. Oh, Diane says, how does the recipient know to open the flower? So they might not. You could always do one of those little, there's some little stamps that have like a tab and it says open. You could always do that. Or you can just, maybe they do or don't see it. I don't know. I just think it's a fun surprise if they happen to see that it opens. Oh, I'm glad you like the stem tip, Jackie. Oh, Robin likes it too. Good, good, good. Thank you. I know. Thanks, Debbie. Thanks, Denise. You all love the stem tip. Thank you. I know. Faith, it does. I wasn't going to say that. It does remind me of a dentist tool, but it has been really helpful to me recently. I'm really enjoying how it's working for me. Yes, Debbie, exactly. So Debbie was saying our hands age. As we age, it gets harder to handle things, and I think that's part of it for me as well. Oh, so Debbie is saying one more time about the microfiber cloth, wiping this off. So the ink is fine on the matte part of the paper. So everything that's not embossed with white, it's fine. But you have to wipe it off of the part that's on top of the white because it's kind of like putting ink on, let's say, plastic or something. It's not going to ever stick there. It's going to come off on your hands. So you need to just wipe it so that it comes off the surface of the embossed and it will stick fine no matter what to the paper part. But you just have to wipe that excess off of the embossed part. Okay, let's see. Yes, Susan, exactly. Stamping little fiddly parts as well. Yes, that becomes more and more difficult with age. I do agree on that. So let me show you another tip that I forgot to show you when I was talking about die cutting all of these fun parts and pieces. This is something that I thought worked super well. As I mentioned, the 12 by 12 two-tone cardstock, I cut into 4-inch strips. So let's just pretend. Do I have one more piece of that color? Here we go. Let's just pretend that we had our 12 by 12 card. There we go. Our 12 by 12 cardstock, okay? I cut it into 3 strips, 4 inches wide. You can see that. And then I layered 2 pieces together. I probably shouldn't say that because I don't know if that voids your warranty, but when it's thin paper, I cut 2 at once. Okay, Stampin' Up! Might fire me for that, but I do. So then when you die cut those 2 layers at once, you're going to get 2 of these by putting that die up at the top. Okay, so there's that die. That die is going to go up at the top. And then we're going to use this die and put it here. Okay, so then we get 2 pieces. Pardon me, froggy. Then we get 2 pieces. Okay, then here's the big tip. Then I flipped it over to die cut more because you kind of want the option of your little petals going both ways. Do you see the difference here? There's this one that goes way in, but on the other side, it's a single petal. If you start mixing and matching, you kind of want the option to have them layering in all different directions. You don't always want them to line up exactly. You might want them to be offset. So by flipping over your paper, you're going to get even more options than if you just die cut the same thing. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, you may just want to trust me on this, and you'll see that you're going to end up with more options for your layers. Really, I hope that didn't sound like I was speaking Greek. It's one of those things where you may just want to trust me on that. Now, if you're not using two-tone paper, it probably does not make a bit of difference. But the two-tone paper, you would want to do that. Okay, clean these up. Sorry, fingers and cooperation sometimes just do not happen. So I gave you the trick on the green two-tone as well. So don't forget that. I shared the tip on, where did I flicked that flower somewhere over here because I was like so mad at it. Now I don't know what happened. Oh, it's right here in my hand. Good heavens, people. I gave you the trick on making sure that you are lining up your stamped image with the die cut. So if it looks like it doesn't line up, simply flip it around and it's going to be the right way. My goodness, what a no-brainer that should have been, but whatever. I gave you the tip about adding some shading with the blend and then stamping just the center, or if it flubs up like it did, you can always add the die cut. So I gave you that tip. I gave you the tip about adding extra shading down to the tips or extra shading up here. So there you can see the difference. This one has some shading here. This one has shading here. Here's another one with shading here. I shared about using just 2 layers. So 1 layer of fluff on top of the die cut or 2 layers of fluff on top of the die cut. I shared the tip about adding your stem and your greeting an easier way, at least for me, using the two-tone. We talked about ink blending on the Irresistible Designs paper. So many tips today, my friends. About using two-tone paper, flipping and flopping all of your colors. Oh, and you know what? I started to share this funny story and then I got really sidetracked. So I mentioned on Tuesday that I was in the office where my husband and son work, and I brought all of these to work on. I had all of these pieces all over a nice big table, and I was gluing and adding ink and mixing and matching, and my son walked by and he says, "It looks like a fiesta in Mexico, and all of the ladies are in all of those beautiful skirts with all the flowers." And I'm like, you are right. That's exactly what this looks like. And I just thought that was such a cute observation. I love all of the different colors and all of the options. I just think it's so amazing. Oh, thank you, Renee. I'm glad you like the set. Kim missed the paper in the background. It is the Irresistible Designs. So we looked at this. It has 3 different patterns in the pack. I think I cut all 3 over here. Where are the leaves? Yeah, I did. So here are the 3 patterns in the pack. So do you see there is a leaf embossed pattern, the plaid embossed pattern, and the floral. So I showed you the washi tape cards that I made with these. And then all we did was add ink blending with the blending brush and wipe off the excess. But you can see all these supplies on pattystamps.com today if you want to go click over there when we're done. So that's the background paper. And let's see, what else? Yeah, does anyone have coneflowers in their yard? In their garden, I'm wondering. I don't. I might look into those though. Oh, Susan in Texas has deep pink, orange, and yellow in her yard. Maybe purple. Amazing. Thank you. That's great to know. Thanks, Kelly. I'm glad you like these. Thank you, Shirley. Yep, hula skirts. Totally. Louise says another add to cart. Oh, Robin, in the pack of Irresistible Designs, you have your 12 by, not gold. Good heavens, that's hysterical. Grab too many packages. You have 2 sheets of each. So you have 2 large sheets of the flowers, 2 large sheets of the leaves, and 2 large sheets of the plaid. So if you cut them all into 4-inch strips and then cut them into 5 1/4, you can make a ton of cards. So 36 cards out of a pack. If you wanted to do that, if you want to make a lot like I did. Oh, Liz has berry burst coneflowers in her garden in Minnesota. That is awesome. Susan saw my big brown box post. I'm not sure if I will actually do an unboxing with those or just start using them. Debbie, this paper has been out for quite a while. It was in an online exclusive release quite a while ago, and I haven't been using it, so you haven't seen it in action on my site yet. But yes, it's a wonderful paper. It's really friend to use. No, it's really fun to use. I was reading Bess's comment. She said, my friend in Richmond, Virginia has a red one in her garden. Debbie says, if we want to click, of course we want to go click. Thank you. Thank you. So I don't know if you want to hang out. We've already been here an hour. If you want to see me make more of these, I'm happy to hang out and make a couple more. Goodness knows I have plenty of supplies ready to go. If you think you've got it now, you've got all those tips, you understand the shading, the layering, all of that, then I will let you go and enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend. But just let me know if there's another one you want me to create. I will. If not, we all can go on about our day. Yeah, hula skirts. That would be so fun, Kat and Lois. That would be so fun. I truly appreciate all of you joining me. It is so fun to see your comments and hang out with you. This is just such a beautiful bundle. Don't forget, if you're not into all the layers of colors, just stamp and color it and play with colors. Play with all of these types of colors, but just color with your blends or your colored pencils. It would be wonderful just to have a coloring day with this stamped image. So don't forget, you don't have to do all of these layers. It's just, for me, it's very fun. It's my version of like quilting or, you know, just something like that where I'm combining delicious products together. You are welcome. What colors are the bottom ones? So this one right here, this is Petal Pink. Flirty Flamingo on top of Daffodil Delight. And then I inked with Strawberry Slush and Timid Tiger to give all of those different colors on that one. I particularly loved this one. I just loved how there's like 5 or 6 colors and just 2 pieces of paper. I really loved that one. Thank you for asking about that one. I'm so glad you all like them. Thank you. I'm glad you like the inspiration sheet, Susan. It's on my blog today, and I will, oh no, tomorrow. It'll be on my blog tomorrow. I forgot to say that. All of these cards, you can look for them on June 14th. If you're watching the YouTube video, just click the link in the description and you will find all of those. But the, oh, Kelly, I'll answer you in just a second. All of these cards on my blog tomorrow, and you can get there by clicking the link in the YouTube description. And I will also have a link to all of my previous inspiration sheets. They're all under my gallery page on my blog if you want to go find them, but they're really helpful to me. So who was asking? Kelly was asking about the washi tape cards. Yes, I am going to be showing those probably next Friday. I was waiting for it to come back in stock, and it came back in stock yesterday, I think it was, the washi tape. So I've been waiting and waiting. Look at all these I have to show you. Like, look at all this fun stuff with the washi tape. There's the washi tape. You put it on cardstock, you die cut it out, and it just makes, let me show you. I'll just take some of these out. It just makes like just the most beautiful, gorgeous, easy, fun, stunning cards. You can tell, I could not stop. I made probably 40 or 50 of these. They're just amazing. So easy to make. And I loved this Irresistible Designs paper in the background. So that's why I started using it. And then I kind of saved the plaid to go with the coneflower because I thought it was really pretty with the coneflower, this diagonal kind of a design element to it. You're welcome, everybody. So I'll just, several of you said, yes, you wanted me to make more. I'll hang out and make another one. And then if you have all the details, you're bored, you're like, okay, enough of this. You are welcome to hop off and just go have a wonderful rest of your day. But let's do something with peach pie, maybe some timid tiger, maybe a flamingo. Let's see how those go together. What if we put it on some yellow? Let's just see. Let's just look. Oh, look at that delicious combination. It's a very soft, this reminds me of sherbet. Sherbet? How do you say it? Look at that even. What if we, oh my gosh. Look, we could even add no, that's too blah. I don't know. I really liked that. I really liked what I did before. Kind of like that. Let's do that one real quick. Real quick. So what are we going to stamp? Let's do peach pie. Do peach pie. So when you stamp the first layer, you're not really worrying much about the center. Oops, sorry, I bumped you. You could ink it separately and put some brown ink in that center, but it's going to get covered on the front. So you don't really worry about it much. But in the middle of the card, you could, if you wanted to, you could, oh, it barely shows because it's stamped off peach pie, but you could have made that darker if you want, but that's just our inside. So we don't need to worry too much about that. Then, let's see, what did I decide? If we did, ooh. There are so many possibilities. No, I don't even know what I did the first time. Oh, but I like that. We're going to go with this. Yeah, we're going to go with this. Okay, so isn't that funny? See what I mean about so many possibilities? You can seriously do whatever you'd like. So let's do some peach pie on this one. Just being gentle. Do a little peach pie here. You know, this is so pretty just on its own. I mean, that could just be your card. Really? You don't have to go above and beyond anything but that. Isn't that just beautiful? I mean, really, whatever you think, whatever you'd like to do would just be gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to try something. I'm going to do some Timid Tiger. A little bit of Timid Tiger, because we're going to go a little bit deeper here. Just for some extra contrast. Yeah, isn't that pretty? Look at that. Oh yeah, so pretty. And then, because we have light tips there, I'm going to put Timid Tiger on the bottom tips of this layer. And Strawberry Slush, because I can. Because you can. Because you can do whatever you would like to do with these flowers. Any colors, any combination, you can play and play and play and play. Oh my gosh. I hope you can see this in person. I mean, I hope this is really coming through. You guys, look. Look how beautiful that's going to be. Oh my gosh. And I'm just going to put just a little bit. Just being really gentle to put, I just want a little bit right there so that when I stamp that center, it just looks like those petals are kind of dipping down in there into the middle. So back to our pecan pie. Let's see if we can make this one a little more perfect, because remember the first time it was really hard for me to see through the phone and I didn't get this stamped quite right. Just wiping off a little of that extra ink. So you know what? I'm going to cheat a little. I have to pull it down here a little closer to me. Oh, that's even worse. That's harder to see. Okay, maybe if I do this. This is just hard to see. Okay. Through the camera. I mean, it's not hard to see when you're just stamping. It's just hard to see when you're trying to look through the camera. Well, there we go. Much better. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that gorgeous? And then I'm just going to add a little bit of number 600. This could be any brown or bronze or pecan pie or whatever you'd like. Just a little bit, because what that did was made a little light spot right there, which I really, really, really like. Oh, I am so in love with this piece. That is so pretty. That is so gorgeous. And you know what? I just had a thought. You know what I'm going to do? Okay, hang on. Okay, first of all, what I want to do is sit here and play with this all day long. But I know I have stuff to do, but that's what I want to do. I am going to grab my Wink of Stella, and I'm going to shake it off camera because I don't want you to be dizzy. And then I'm just going to flick Wink of Stella. Oh, I'm going to do one more thing. Hang on. I have one more thing to do. There we go. Let me get that flowing a little bit. One more thing. One more thing. Oh my gosh. Now I have to go back and wink all of these flowers because that is amazing. That is gorgeous. There is also this speckled stamp in the set. Did any of you notice it on the inspiration sheet up here? Sorry, I just bumped everything. There's this speckled stamp. So what if we added a little bit of speckle? I'm thinking Timid Tiger. I hope this works. Let's just see what it does. Just if we add, I am 100% loving that. Look at that. A little bit of texture. Okay, this might be one of my most favorite flowers. So if you missed the first one, here's kind of the design concept, is that you have this back layer that has extra color at the bottom, but I left it light. See, I left it light up there. So then we shade dark here so that the contrast of darker, lighter shows. And then when we put this one on, we have darker here, darker at the tips, and lighter through the middle. And when we, remember, we're going to offset it a little bit. So this one will get glued down. Sorry, fingers, please cooperate. There we go. So this one will get glued down at a little bit of an angle so that you're seeing through to all of those other layers. Isn't this amazing? Anybody else loving this one? Is anybody else still here? I guess I should look and see. I might be talking to myself. Wouldn't that be hysterical? Wouldn't that be funny? Okay, so there we have what could be, seriously, my favorite flower of all of them. This is so pretty. Is anybody else still here? Oh yeah, there are still people here. Yay! Lori says it looks like the measles. Well, that wasn't really my intent, Lori, but I guess a creative person could use this as a measles stamp if you needed to. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Dawn. Thanks, Louise. Thank you, everybody. Oh my goodness. Oh, Jenny says we're still here. Oh my goodness, you all are so sweet. You're so sweet. I just had that like image thinking, here I am jabbering away, and I didn't even look to see if anybody stayed here. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Tammy. Thank you, Michelle. Show me the speckles, Robin says. Yeah, what do you think? I like the speckles on there. I think that adds just a really fun little touch in there. I like that. Sorry, hubby is going in and out and banging the door. I don't know what's with that, but what if we, oh, wait, I have an idea. Oh my gosh. Is anybody else like me? Does your brain just literally never turn off? My brain never shuts down, ever. I'm wondering if I used the leaf pattern from that Irresistible Designs and my Granny Apple Green. Oh, lemon lime twist. Oh, wait. Okay, hang on. Both. Lemon lime twist. I'm going to do that. Lemon lime twist with the green. Haven't used this one in a while. This one is like dry. Hope that isn't making everyone dizzy. So we're going to do lemon lime twist up to that midway point. And then add the granny apple green. And I'm just wondering what that will look like with these flowers, because I wanted to try that, but I didn't bring this pattern when I was working on all of these on Tuesday in the office. But I had the idea in my head, and then I forgot to try it. Okay, so we have lemon lime twist and granny apple green. They are just, anybody else think that is just like the ultimate beautiful green combo? Okay, and then once again, we're just wiping off the ink that is sitting on top of the embossed area, because otherwise it'll come right off on your hands. And I found that I really love the microfiber cloth for this. I used to always use either, what do you call it, paper towel or a Kleenex. But what I found was that it kind of like pilled up and made kind of all these weird little, I like the dark one, made all of these weird little, like, I don't know, little flaky things all over, and I didn't like it. So I changed to a microfiber cloth, and I think it's much better. Personally, I like this much better. And since I made these leaves that do come in this die set, okay, I can't honestly say that I love those. I thought I would love them. I don't. At least not on this card. So I think we're just going to go with the stamped ones. Yeah, you know why? Because these stamped ones go so pretty with the paper. Are you leaving?
Yes, I am.
Okay, hang on everybody. 1 second. Gotta say goodbye to hubby. Love you. Be safe.
Love you too. I will be dropping my PC off at Chris's.
You are?
On the way home.
Okay.
And I told him we'd pick it up Tuesday on the way out.
Okay. Be safe. Love you.
Love you.
All right. So, what do you think? I like it with the green background. Does everybody else? What do you think? Instead of a colored background. I'm trying to find one that's sort of a similar, like, there we go. That's one sort of similar in color. I like the green. I really like it. I like it. So we'll do our little trick. Remember, we're just going to scoot this over a tiny bit and do the line of glue. And then pick that up and set it down on top. And then 2 leaves. Can you imagine if I just kept doing these all afternoon and this was like a, what, I don't know, 6-hour video and you just watched me do 800 different combinations? I think you all would just be bored, but I would have so much fun. Okay, I don't know who is playing rap music out there, but that is not normal for this neighborhood. What in the world? It is so loud out there. Can you all hear that? Good grief. Good grief, people. I am so in love with this card. Now, we have to decide. I'm kind of wondering about peach pie. I like it. I can't say that that is the answer, but I like it. What about daffodil? Oh, well, that's pretty too. Ooh, that really made that flower pop when I put it on daffodil. What else do I have? I have some stuff cut over here, but not every color that would be perfect. What is this one? Oh, I think this is tiger, timid tiger. Oh my goodness. I don't know. Did anybody have a preference on that? Huh. I wonder what it would look like with lemon lime. I do have that pre-cut. Oh, that might be it. That might be it. Anybody have a preference? Oh my gosh, it says 50 new comments. What the heck? Robin says a pink. Let me try a pink. That's beautiful as well. Oh my goodness. Well, there's 5 choices. Yeah, what do y'all think? Okay, yellow, tiger, tiger, yellow, pink. Mary, you're sweet. She says she could watch me all day. Lois says it's like setting up a 24-hour wildlife camera in my studio. Oh my goodness. You guys are so cute. Strawberry slush. Oh, let me get strawberry slush. Okay, that is gorgeous as well. Now I don't know. I'm really torn. Green or yellow? Too many cards, too little time. Diane, you are so right. Denise likes the green or the pink. Lime or pink, says Dora. Lime, says Michelle. Tiger. Green. And just reading. Yellow or flamingo. Strawberry slush. Okay, in other words, you all like all the colors just like I do. And it's nearly impossible to decide. And that's like the story of why I make so many cards, because I can never decide and I just keep creating. Okay, I think I'm going to narrow it down to 2, so it's not that. I'm going to do my 2 favorites. Oh, I kind of like that too. Okay, my 2 favorites would be the flamingo or the lime. And the lime just because it's so different and just because it's really different from what I've been making. But those would be, I think, my 2 top choices, the flamingo or the lime. But seriously, how can you go wrong with these gorgeous colors, my friends? We like all the choices, don't we, Jenny? We do. Georgianne says, can't decide. Robin likes my choices. Sheila says strawberry. One of each. I know, Lois, that's the thing, is that I'm just going to sit here and make like 30 more of these today. And so there we have it, right? Flamingo, lime, 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 lime. Okay, we're going to go with lime. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put this piece of paper right up here. And I'm going to make a duplicate one and put it on the flamingo because I really, really, really love the flamingo one too. So this is also the fun part about having a lot of card bases ready to go, is that you can do things like this and you can look at all the choices and not have to get up and start cutting cardstock. So that is one reason I love my paper drawer of happiness, is that I can just grab different colors and try things out. Okay. Ooh, friends, friends, friends. So, so, so beautiful. This flower is making me so happy. Give it a little more. I feel like I'm giving it a little hairstyle here. Give it a little more curl. And I wonder if a strawberry slush greeting. Oh, yeah, but that doesn't. Oh, I didn't do It's Your Day. Yay. So look, I can do whatever I want here. That's the ticket right there. I'm not even going to second guess it. I am not even going to second guess it. I am just going to do it. Because we have so many more that we can play with. Oh, friends. Friends, friends, friends. Thank you for indulging me. I really just needed this. Oh, though I like those. I really just needed this extra moment to just play. I really did. As a content creator, we don't always have the time to just play. We are often spending time thinking of our next video, our next blog post, our next class, and it's not always what we just want to sit and do. This right here was exactly what I just needed. My soul needed that, and I thank you for indulging me on that because I love this card so much. I might frame this one. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to get like all sappy and sentimental, but so there we go. Let's look at those 3 patterns in the, what is it called? Irresistible Designs. So there you go. Now you can see all 3 patterns of Irresistible Designs. If you're looking for it, let me just give you the number. 165305. So if you're looking for that paper, there we go. That's it. You are going to want to shop for this paper. Put it in your cart. Get it now before it sells out. So there we go. You can see all 3 different ideas with the ink blending on that paper as a fun background. And beautiful different ideas with so many different layers and colors. And I'm going to leave it up to Tammy, she's watching, to make blue cone flowers because I know she will. And they will be gorgeous because I didn't. But she will, and I even have more over here that I made. And there's just, it's endless. But yeah, Tammy, the challenge is on. Make blue cone flowers and share with us. So there we go. Thank you, Patty. I'm glad you like it. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Chris. Thanks, Vicki. Yes, Lois, I showed that. Maybe you weren't here. We went over all of this, the more messages, and I gave the size of the paper and explained all that about die cutting those and then keeping them in your card candy bowl. So maybe you missed the beginning, but yes, that is what those are from. And I love those. I just love keeping a bunch of them handy because it's really easy to grab and use. Well, thank you, everybody. I know this was super long, and I know that was a long time for you to hang out with me, but I appreciate you, and I hope you have fun with this bundle if you get it and use it. And I will see you all next week for 30th anniversary fun and our washi tape cards. Have a fabulous weekend, everybody. Happy Father's Day to all the dads, and I will see you next week. Bye.